My name is Vicki. I originally come from Miami, Florida, and however, I've been here in California many years. I first moved to the state of California back in 1992. So I'm a transplant. I've done art most of my life, so for me to be able to do art as a hobby or something that I do professionally, I've never thought of it any other way. I like to do outdoor things, so. I found out about Piece by Piece when through the EDD, the California Employment Development Department, I was job searching after I'd been laid off, and I just found a brochure there. This is the one at an old office now in Marina del Rey, and it took me, I was interested because of my art background to learn more about it, but despite that, it took me quite some time before I organized myself to make the phone call, and that was how I found out. I believe I first started in mosaic to some extent when I was back in grade school in our art program there. I don't remember it that much, but for that particular activity. But when I came here to Piece by Piece, immediately I came to an open workshop and I was able to begin just laying down pieces. My idea for my first mosaic here was, before I decided to come in, I had looked at a library book about mosaic, and it was talking about random mosaic placement, just not even pressuring oneself for a design that was direct, but just to lay the pieces and see how it would go. So my goal for my first piece, which was a frame, a wooden frame, was simply to be random and see what it looked like. And so in the process of that, I kept it more like a pure puzzle. I didn't really cut very much or anything. I just wanted to see what it looked like as a random piece. And so that was my very first introduction to mosaic ideas. I'd have to say it comes from so many places, because inspiration is like air, it's everywhere, and you can't always see it, or predict its direction. But I would say that a lot of it just comes from my emotion. I try to grab an image out of my mind. A lot of the time I just sit down and I say, maybe someone else understands this image or maybe they don't, but I try to work from that with the belief that an emotion or deep feeling empowers the image, and so it will start to come together from the organization inside of me. I have learned many skills here that have helped me. When I think specifically about art skills, a really important thing that I think of, I have a Master's of Fine Art from USC School of Cinematic Arts. And one of the things that I've always experienced in art has been the block, that they almost, you want to remove a block. And I think that Piece by Piece, primarily, how I engaged and how I did it, helped me to remove it, because there was a lot of quick-paced activity. So it was necessary to make a choice and move on. And whenever I see anything that can create self-criticism or anything, it has to be done differently, that's all wrong. You have to move it out of the way and you have to move forward, because you can't control or always understand a creative process. So that has been a very positive thing, to get into the world of removing blocks rather than initiating them with excuses. And I think that's been the process here more than not. And also working on cutting as a technique. I learned from an instructor here the first time I formally requested a cutting technique instruction. It was during an open studio, and that started to open up a whole new world of change. Learning how to do things to recycle the piece, literally, to cut it, to refashion it, to repurpose it, to go into the mosaic the way I wanted to design it. Once you've unlocked that door, you can go anywhere. So that's true with so many things in art. When we bring materials and elements together, you learn the correct way to manipulate them, control them, and then to create the image. So everything I've learned in mosaic is easily transferable into other arts. I have known some of the instructors here now. I started here in the summer of 2014, so it's just past my anniversary. It was the middle of June. And I have now known some of the people here, instructors, many years. So it's hard to divide it because we've done stuff also outside of here and all of that. I think that it is working closely with people as we do here. It's a very emotional experience. And I think that the goal has really been to march on. And again, that's so important to have the view of when you hit a block, and it can happen at any point, that we move it out, whatever type of block it is, whether it's a block to finishing something, learning a new technique, whatever the issue may be, social interaction, whatever it is, that I think we have tried to dedicate to going to the next step. And so I think that has been the way Piece by Piece has approached relationships, and so that has informed my relationships also with the instructors. Piece by Piece, again, because I've been here for as long as I have been here, the sense of community has been vast. It grew over time. New people, of course, come in. Some people have exited. It's by no means the same group as when I first entered into Piece by Piece. But one of the things is that when I'm very aware of shared needs and issues that we have, and so the community is around those shared concerns, whether it had to do, this being also a social enterprise company, there are many levels of shared relationships, whether it was housing, food equity, whatever these things were, art, all of these things come together. And so the community, I think, has tried to be supportive. I think we've tried to come together. And I think the more we work on those commonalities, the further we get. Yes, I have. You know, it has been so difficult with finances. Piece by Piece is one of the companies sort of created to directly address the issue of poverty. And however, no sooner is the money earned than the money's gone. So it's how the system is still working. It is unbalanced and unstable, in my opinion. So I have been able to, but what that means in the world is unknown because the money is so unstable. I was involved with Piece by Piece during the pandemic when we went from, at that time, the in-person classes we had had since I had begun into a format that was Zoom format, as so many places did. And it definitely helped keep us going because we were also with the pandemic unemployment assistance. And so that was a primary means in which we were able to maintain our work and our company and our creative flow. That was vital. So we came together during that time. It was a very strange time, both connected and disconnected remotely, but it was a vital way in which it functioned to keep us moving forward, so that today when we're back meeting in person and we have our new space, we're able to achieve this, because it would have been very hard to have this now without having had that process during the pandemic. That is so difficult. I would have to say creative, I would have to say growth, and I would have to say endangered, because when people are in a point of crisis and they go into being in an endangered situation of some kind, you go to a place hopefully that has an island effect. You can kind of, like the side of a pool, and drag your way out. And I think that Piece by Piece is designed for people, hopefully, who are in crisis, to reduce at least some of the crisis. And it has, therefore, some of the emotion and feeling of a place that is designed around some crisis situations. So I would remind anybody getting involved that there is that element, as well as the creative or the communal or the growth orientation. It also has that element of being a place where we are frequently impacted by crisis, either here or when people come in from the outside with concerns that they have that are crisis driven. Yeah, I would say that I've been able to creatively develop here. One of the ways is having this new website launch. to be able to show a gallery of our work online is so important. Not all artists have that opportunity. And so this is a great opportunity to have people be able to see our work, perhaps even to purchase our work, certainly to view it and become familiar with our art. And that is extremely important for building our reputation as artists and also to being able to become more active in the arts business, which is certainly a difficult business to work in.